Sitting in the very back. So Marcus Banks, the head of the Blaisdell Library. Our guest speaker is Amin Nizam, who is speaking about how medical schools and students can improve Wikipedia. Last year, he and I were on a panel together at UCSF where we were speaking about open access publishing, making knowledge more open in general. His talk was at sort of towards the end, and I knew at that point that I'd be coming here to Davis, and I was hoping from that moment to getting here. It's taken almost a year, but here he is, and we're really looking forward to it.
Marcus, thanks very much. I really am super thrilled to be here with you all this morning. And a couple of things to start off with. First, there's plenty of pie in the back. Please feel free to get up and get more. Thank you, Marcus, for providing in the library. Secondly, there's a bunch of brochures in the back left as well, too, from different sources. If you have to leave early, feel free to grab some of those on your way out. I'm going to declare that I walk as I talk, and I understand we're being recorded, so this is my guideline here to make sure I don't cross past the video recording, and on that side. But forgive me for pacing, which is something that I do when I talk. I want to start by declaring to you all to disclose that I have no conflicts of interest to disclose. I don't have any sort of paid speaker engagements or gigs by Wikipedia or the Wikimedia Foundation at all whatsoever. I am a faculty member at UCSF and UC Berkeley and now Samuel Merritt University, and I don't get paid a penny for this work. I do this because I'm deeply passionate and committed to it, and as you'll hear, this is the biggest thing I'm doing in my professional life, and I hope today to convince you that you might want to join the movement. Okay. So I want to start with the audacious mission statement of Wikipedia. So Jimmy Wales is one of the co-founders of Wikipedia, and this is what he says about what they're trying to accomplish in Wikipedia. Which I just think is pretty awesome. So that's what we're trying to do in Wikipedia. You might be wondering how big Wikipedia is now. And so I'm going to quote myself occasionally, so when I put my face up here, it's just sort of quoting myself. So back on November 11th, I did a search to say my favorite source, Google, and I did a Google search on Wikipedia's statistics. And if you click on that first hit and you go to the Wikipedia page, you will see this Wikipedia page on Wikipedia statistics. And you'll see that Wikipedia, at least in November, was an average rate of 6 edits per second. That was over 5 million articles. In the English language Wikipedia, and it averages 800 new articles per day. On that Wikipedia page, if you scroll up on that same page to read the other parts of Wikipedia, you'll get to a table on the side there. And that's where I'm getting that number, 5 million articles, and that table gets auto-populated with Wikipedia. And so I checked on the train ride out here this morning, and that number has now gone up to 5,254,000 Wikipedia articles between now and last November. And down at the bottom of that page, there is this area here called General Statistics, and there's a thing that Wikipedians like to talk about, which is comparing Wikipedia to encyclopedias. So if you click on size of Wikipedia in volumes, you get this nice little picture here, where they love talking about how if one volume of Wikipedia, one volume of an encyclopedia is one little book, then the size of Wikipedia is that big, with a sort of drawn to scale with a man standing there. And the reason I like this is just because if you look way out inside there, you can see there's some empty volumes of the volumes of Wikipedia. So just to put it in concrete numbers, just so I've quoted it, it's like, what do they say? I can't read it without, I'm even with my glasses, it's out of focus here for whatever reason, so you have to use the small screens. Bottom line is, Wikipedia is a work in progress. It's never done. It's all of us. We're all in the progress of trying to make all of the world's information available for free on Wikipedia. Okay. So, anybody know who runs Wikipedia? Feel free to shout out. Go ahead. Feel free. No? No? Okay. Good. You're learning something new today. So, the Wikimedia Foundation is the name of the nonprofit organization that runs Wikipedia. They're based out of San Francisco, hooray, Bay Area. And on their Wikipedia page it says that, this is totally terrible, it's out of focus. As of 2015, the foundation employs over 280 people with annual revenues in excess of $75 million. Nonprofit. And what's really cool when you think about it is, even though they employ only less than 300 people, they still are readily one of the top 10 most heavily trafficked websites on the planet. And in case you're wondering what the other top 5 are, you know them. Yahoo, YouTube, Google, Facebook, the big ones, right? So that's really cool when you think about it, a nonprofit that consistently ranks in the top 10 most heavily trafficked web pages on the planet. Okay, so moving towards our topic, we wonder whether people use Wikipedia for health-related topics. And anecdotally, you all kind of probably know this to be true, but I'd like to put it in sort of scholarly terms. So there's this Journal of Medical Information Internet Research, an open access journal, one of the smaller impact journals out there. But there's a study that was published by one of my colleagues, James Hyneman, who I'll tell you a little bit more later. And in that article, Wikipedia in Medicine, Quantifying Readership, Editors, and the Significance of Natural Language, in the abstract you'll see that the content of Wikipedia at the end of 2013 was made up of more than 155,000 articles, 1 billion bytes of text, referenced by more than 950,000 references. And they make the argument that that means that it is the most viewed medical source globally. Update for this talk, as of 2015, there's now over 1.4 million references supporting the content across the 255 Wikipedia items. Okay, have you guys heard of Wiki projects? Okay, lesson number 2. You now know the Wikimedia Foundation is the foundation that runs Wikipedia. And Wiki projects are basically, if you Google Wiki project, you get the definition of a Wiki project here from Wikipedia. They are basically a collection of individuals that care about a topic on Wikipedia. And they come together as a project because they care about that topic. So I'll give you some examples. There is a Wiki project Beverages Task Force. Here's their Wikipedia page, and they are committed to improving the quality of information about drinks on Wikipedia. There's a Wiki project Mountains group who are dedicated to improving information about what mountains on Wikipedia. Here's the Beekeeping Task Force Wiki project. Here's the Mathematics Wiki project. Here's the Physics Wiki project. So just to move it towards a scholarly realm, again, you can't really read it. The Wiki project exists to improve the quality of existing articles related to physics, to create articles to cover a broader range of physics topics, and to categorize and link them in appropriate ways. Okay. Who here's heard of Wiki Project Medicine then? Yay! All right. So now, lesson number 3, Wiki Project Medicine. Here's their Wiki page. What do? It's an all-volunteer organization, roughly 300 people. A lot of them are not health professionals. Some of them are. But they're all dedicated to improving the quality of health-related content on Wikipedia. And what they do, which I think is really cool, is they take the roughly 26,000 English language health-related articles on Wikipedia, and they rank order them by importance. And that rank order takes into account 2 very important attributes. Number of eyeballs reading the pages, as well as global burden of disease. So I always use an example that human sexuality is important because a lot of people read about it on Wikipedia. So too is dengue fever, even though it's not endemic to the United States. Just to show you that scale, here's a screen that shows you that ranking scale. And again, the details aren't vital, but you can see that the way they're ranking articles is top, high, mid, low priority. And the kinds of articles that are top importance are extremely important, even crucial to medicine, strong interest from non-professionals around the world, usually a large subject with associated sub-articles, and only less than 1% of the medicine-related articles on Wikipedia are top priority. And examples of that are TB or cancer. And then you can see the other sort of established criteria for the other domains. Okay? Okay. Did you all know that all Wikipedia articles are graded for quality? How many people knew that? I love it. I love it. So you're learning lesson number 4. So all Wikipedia articles are graded for quality across all of Wikipedia. And I'm going to show you that and how to get that. Here's the grading scale. Again, the details aren't vital. What you should know is that all Wikipedia articles start as a stub quality article. As people add text to it, it becomes a start quality, C quality, B quality. It moves up the chain. And each of these domains, each of these grades, if you will, has established criteria in order to move up the chain. So just to pick it at random, letter C. The article is substantial, but is still missing important content or contains much irrelevant material. This article should have some reference to reliable sources, but may still have significant problems that require substantial cleanup. There's more detailed criteria than that listed there, and if you click on that, it'll show you the detailed criteria. Just to show you across the way, in that same level, I'm just talking about C quality now, the reader's experience of C quality, useful to a casual reader, but would not provide a complete picture for even a moderately detailed study. And then the editing suggestions, considerable editing is needed to close gaps in content and solve cleanup problems. An example within the healthcare space is the islets of Langerhans Wikipedia page. Yeah? Okay, just if you think about that importance scale from the Wiki Project Medicine and the quality scale from all of the rest of Wikipedia, if you mix those two scales together, you have my favorite table on the planet, which is basically, if you will, a roadmap of the most impactful work to do on Wikipedia. So I'm showing you the top importance, leftmost column, and C quality articles that are need improvement on Wikipedia. Okay? So let me give you some examples. If you go to the Wikipedia schizophrenia page, at the very top you can see that article tab. That's what we all read on Wikipedia. But right next to it is a talk tab. And if you click on that talk tab, it's the people who care about schizophrenia talking about the content on Wikipedia and how to improve it. And so if you go to that talk tab, you will see under the hood of Wikipedia, the behind the scenes stuff. And here you can see that on there it lists that this article is a featured article quality on the quality scale of Wikipedia, and that this article has been ranked top importance by the Wiki Project importance scale. Here's another example. The American Rontgen Ray Society. I choose this one not because I have anything against our radiologic colleagues, but because this is the entirety of the article. So you can see everything on one screen here. And if you click on the talk page of here, you will see that it says that this is a stuff quality article, but it's also low importance on the Wiki Project Medicine scale. Okay? So that's a roadmap of the most impactful work that Wikipedia needs help on in improving the quality of health-related information on Wikipedia. If we drill down deeper on that, if you click on that, I'll show you where to get to this. So Barry, I should tell you now. This table is on the Wiki Project Medicine Wikipedia page. So you can go to Wiki Project Medicine, you can read everything about what they're trying to achieve, and you get to this table. And if you click on the 18 there, that's the list of the top importance C quality, currently C quality articles on Wikipedia. Antimicrobial, antiseptic, anxiety disorder, cardiovascular disease, cirrhosis, death, disease, drugs, it's alphabetical obviously, visual impairment, infection, hearing loss, big topics. Okay. So, at a talk like this, sponsored by the library at UCSF, when I met James Hyneman, the author of that other article I showed you, he's an ER doc in Canada, and he practiced, he's part of the University of British Columbia, but he's passionate about Wiki Project Medicine, and he came and talked at UCSF's office, and I got totally inspired by what they're doing, and I decided that we needed to get on board at UCSF. So, in 2013, I'm honored to have created the first U.S. medical school course in which medical students get academic credit for editing Wikipedia for their efforts. And that turned out to be a sexy topic to the press. So I got good at talking to the media, which was new territory for me. And so these are some of the sort of articles that came out back then. And of course, we have to put our money where our mouths are. Everything we've done is on Wikipedia. It's not behind a course firewall, a paywall. It's not in a learning management platform. It's all on Wikipedia. So if you Google search Wiki Project Medicine UCSF, you're going to find our Wikipedia page. So far, we've offered the class 5 times in the last 3 years. And we've had 50 medical students graduate from the elective over the last 3 years. So you can click on any one of those and you're going to see the exact details of the course and how we designed it and what we did and what students worked on. So it's all there for the whole world to see. So, so the question then becomes, if we put our sort of med ed scholar brains on, or our sort of researcher brains on, or our sort of robust sort of let's do this in scholarly ways brains on, the question then becomes, how do you evaluate this? And I'll tell you that sort of, since we were the world's first, we didn't have any guidance from the literature about how to go about doing it. And so as I brainstormed with my students and with my colleagues at UCSF, we decided that we were going to try to think of 3 broad categories. Amongst friends, let's say we were making this up as we went along. But the more rigorous way to say this, I've learned that the right thing to say is we use principles of emergent design to design the strategy for evaluation, okay? And there's 3 broad categories I'm going to share with you today. The first one is the impact on the students themselves. I'm an educator. We've been at the Western Group in Educational Affairs many times together. So I think very much deeply about the impact on my learners themselves. For that evaluation strategy, we decided to use a mixed method approach of qualitative data, focusing predominantly on qualitative data because we figured there'd be richer data than whether they just moved up on a 5-point lighter scale from 4 to 5 or 4 to 4.5 or something. So what we did was mid-rotation, one-on-one focus groups, interviews with the students. I and the 2 librarian colleagues who did those interviews. And then we did an end rotation focus group with all of the enrolled students together. And then we transcribed those and coded them for themes across 5 of my co-authors to see what themes emerged from the students' experiences of the course. I'm going to share you a lot of those details in a little bit. The second broad domain we decided would be useful to look at was the impact on the readers of Wikipedia themselves. And for that, we just figured we'd use Wikipedia's own numbers to look at the number of people reading those pages, the traffic statistics across the pages that the students were touching. And the third broad category domain we thought we would look at is the impact on the quality of the articles themselves. For that, there's a lot of data. I'm going to share with you a fair chunk in the talk in a bit. But the summary here is that we were looking for different lines of evidence to assess the impact on the quality of Wikipedia itself, which I'll go into in much more detail in a bit. Okay, principles of emergent design to decide what domains we were going to measure. All the results I'm presenting for you today are the results of the first 3 cycles of the elective, in which a total of 28 students enrolled and completed the elective. And lastly, all of this was done with human subjects protection permission, as UCSF decided we were exempt from formal review. Okay, so let's talk about the impact on the students themselves first. Since I'm an educator, that's my favorite part. So these are the themes that emerged from our work with the students, and I will just sort of, these are the paraphrasing of their stuff. So one of the themes that emerged was who they were writing for. And I will acknowledge that students rightly grappled with who was going to be reading their work. At first, they said, I'm going to give back to Wikipedia because it helped me so much in med school. I'm going to make it better for other med students. And then they realized, wait a minute, there's way more non-med students reading this than med students. And so maybe I should be thinking about my target eyeballs. I'd like to offer and suggest to you that this work of writing for a lay audience actually makes them indirectly better at their interpersonal communication skills. Doctrine 101 course over there, right? Same idea for the course that I used to direct at UCSF. So you're learning how to communicate complex medical topics in ways that your audience understands. And that's a hand waving on my part because I've not looked at that outcome directly. Okay, second domain that emerged, they love giving back to Wikipedia specifically. It's not writing for up-to-date. It's not writing for other things. It's Wikipedia, and they love it. And that's why they signed up for the course, because they're giving back to Wikipedia. And it's because they use it so much. As I told some colleagues before we started officially, this idea was not mine to have med students improve Wikipedia. It's one of my own students. I always love to give him credit for it, a guy named Mike Turkin. He's now faculty at Stanford, but he was a med student at UCSF at the time. And he said to me over a coffee date, why the hell are you guys fighting us so much with this? We all go there first. It's written in a way we can understand. We love it. Why don't you help us make it better? And so Mike's totally right. I got on board. Turned 180 degrees away from what I used to say to students. You can't quote Wikipedia. You can't. If your patient asks you in the office, I got this cricket on my neck, and you go, I don't really remember, let me Google it. It doesn't really engender a lot of trust in you as a doctor. But I have come so far from that in the last 3 years that I now will Google something with the patient, turn the screen to them, and talk through how I'm looking at what sources I'm looking at, and why I click on what I do, because I want to role model for them that I can't know everything, but it's okay for me to look to the instant information access we have, and to talk through them about how I'm thinking about quality of sources. Right? So come 180 degrees around from where I used to be. Okay, another theme that emerged from the students. It's really hard to delete other people's work. So one of the things that I didn't expect, which in hindsight I should have expected, is that my students, med students, are so used to buffing and polishing their work before the perfect thing that's given to the supervising faculty member. That's everything they've done in college, everywhere up until now. Totally get it. But that's not the way it works. The ethos on Wikipedia is to be bold. And did I say it already? Yeah. Be bold, edit live, go right away to editing Wikipedia. You have knowledge to contribute. There's no reason to wait until some artificial end date. And that was something I didn't expect, that we've had to sort of work with the students on and get them past that buffing and polishing thing. Okay, the next thing. So it's challenging to edit live instead of in my sandbox. So every Wikipedia editor is given a sandbox space for you to play, just like it sounds like, a sandbox for you to play. Play with your edits if you want before you hit save. And as I said, they're used to buffing and polishing. And so really this is something that we've had to work hard at helping the students get past. Okay. Another domain that emerged from our qualitative work is right there. And this is literally an exact quote from one of my students. I've drunk the Kool-Aid and I totally have to. I'm on board. This is the biggest thing I'm doing professionally in my career. I'm not paid a penny for it, but thank you for inviting me because I want to spread the gospel or whatever, the holy book truths that we should all be embracing Wikipedia, partnering with our patients rather than fighting. Okay. So the last domain that emerged is this notion that contributing to the digital space is actually now part of their identity as future physicians. And the way I would paraphrase this, now I totally agree, the way I paraphrase this is that our students, by completing this elective, are moving from digital native consumers of the internet to future professional contributors of the internet as future docs. And I really actually think this is actually broadening my definition of what it means to be a physician in society or a health professional in society. So it is part of our social contract with society now to be contributing to Wikipedia or to be in the social blogosphere or that's where the people are. Why are we not going to them? Okay, so those are some of the themes that emerged from the first 28 students who completed this elective. Let's talk about the impact on Wikipedia readers themselves. The first 28 students only edited 28 articles. I let them each choose whatever article they wanted to, and they worked on that one article for the whole month, for the whole rotation. And those 28 articles, during just the 30 days that those students were touching those pages, were viewed 750,000 times, just in those 30 days. Staggering, really, when you think about the volume. Right? I'll say more about the downstream of that impacts in a little bit. Okay. Third domain, impact on the quality of Wikipedia itself. Okay, let me talk through all the different quality metrics we use. Okay, acknowledging wide variation across the students, and I really do mean wide variation. I'm going to share with you some aggregate summaries. Okay. First domain, number of edits. So Wikipedia tabulates this for us. Across the 28 students, the students made 1,084 edits, which averages to 39 edits per student. But if you change a comma to a period and hit save, that counts as one edit. If you spend a whole 3 weeks working on one paragraph and make it all as one save, that counts as one edit. So those numbers kind of are sort of really variable. So my computer science colleagues like to think about things in bytes. So our students added 369,994 bytes, whatever that means. But they also took away content on Wikipedia that they thought was actually low quality. So they removed 82,559 bytes. Net total of adding 287,000 bytes. An average of 10,000 bytes per student, whatever that means. Okay? Okay, those are two quality domains. Let's talk about a couple more. One student added as many as 66 references to his or her article. One student took away as many as 64 references to his article. A net total of 274 additional references across those 28 articles. If you look at the average number of articles, references per article, before our students touched them, 29.4, and after they've touched them, 37.6 references per article. All right, I want to talk about quality a little bit further because we thought a lot about this. So I showed you the Wikipedia quality scale. Stub, start, CBA, and featured article. Okay, so one way to think about quality is just to look at the pre-post, right? Before and after the students touch the articles. So, because I thought that the academic community was not going to believe this scale, we decided to take a couple of UCSF-affiliated physicians that had nothing to do with the elective and make up a scale, a BS scale of unimproved, improved, very improved. Totally BS, right? Sorry. Emergent design, we decided we were going to use a novel scale, and we're going to have them grade them pre-post and see what they thought about the impact of the students' work on the articles. And because I thought one person would be enough, we had 2 positions that would then look at their grading and reconcile their grading across their sort of things and to see what they thought. So that's the other form of quality metric we decided to use. Okay, so let's talk about the Wikipedia scale first. Of the first 28 articles, 8 of them started as a stub or a start quality when the students were touching them. And by the end of the month, that's where they got them. So 1 remained a stub, 4 moved from stub to start, and 3 moved up to C quality. Got it? Okay, of the articles, those first 20 students touched, 15 started at C quality, 4 of them got up to B quality, 11 remained at C quality. And there were 5 that started at B quality, and none of the students moved them up the needle at all. Now, on the MD side, this is the emergent design scale, right? Unimproved, improved, or very improved. Those 28 articles, the subjective opinion of those 2 physicians reconciling their opinions were that 14 of those articles became very improved and 12 were improved. Only 2 of the 28 were unimproved, according to those subjective eyeballs of those UCSF-affiliated physicians. So it turns out it's actually much harder to move up the quality scale on Wikipedia than our expert opinion, which I didn't expect or anticipate at all. Okay. Last domain of quality is something that are called acrolinks reports. And so there's a Bay Area company called Acrolinks that specializes in text simplification. And they partner with the Wiki Project Medicine community. And so they produce these spell checker, grammar checker reports on steroids, as I call them. And an example of a report here, this is a Wikipedia page on stroke. And you can see some background highlighting, colors, and underlining and stuff. And so what the Acrolinks reports do is they will give a report to the person who asks for it that says things like, sentence is too long, it's 34 words, and that's hard to translate or hard to simplify. Serial commas, avoid the passive voice, etc., etc. Spell checker, grammar checker on steroids. And then there's a report card or a scorecard that they give for each of these articles. And you can see things like spelling, grammar, style, voice, etc., etc. So on the scale, it's a 100-point scale. Anything towards the green is more user-friendly. Okay? So we partnered with this company. We said students are going to be working on these Wikipedia articles. Once they pick their article at the beginning of the rotation, use your own best judgment. This is a sort of a computerized tool. We'd like you to sort of consider the rules and suggestions from these tools and do with it what you will. So we also thought we would just look at the pre-post scores on all of these articles of quality or metrics of quality. And so there are modest but consistent gains across most of the students in style, readability, translatability, overall writing quality, and grammar. Okay. So when you put all that together, I'm going to propose to you that these are convergent lines of evidence that we have improved, our students have improved the quality of the content on English language Wikipedia. All right. So remember, everything we've done is right on Wikipedia. So I had to put my money where my mouth was. It wasn't really fun creating a web page for a course, a Wikipedia page for a course, but I learned a lot. And so please go to Wiki Project Medicine UCSF to see everything we've done. Now, a little postscript on longevity and cumulative impact. To our knowledge, no more than 1 student has gone on to continue becoming a Wikipedian and actively editing. Having said that, they're kind of busy as interns and residents right now. So I'll forgive them that. Especially because we have near peers coming up behind them who are doing work as medical students, right? In terms of the impact on article quality, at least the last time we checked, which has now been over a year ago, none of the first 28 edits that the students have made have been reversed or vandalized. In some cases, that's now 2 years subsequent to their improvements. Haven't looked at that in over a year though, so it's possible they've been vandalized since. And then when you look at the number of people reading their work, this is where it's just unbelievable. Like those 28 articles have been viewed more than 22 million times. And that is as of last October. Again, I haven't really looked at this since. 22 million times. So I'll come back to the audacious claim of the co-founder of Wikipedia, right? Isn't it amazing what we're trying, we, all of us, are trying to accomplish with Wikipedia? Okay. Lesson number 5. How many of you have heard of the Wiki Education Foundation? Love it! Okay, here's something else cool and wonderful you're going to walk away with. The Wiki Education Foundation is a nonprofit spin-off from Wikipedia, based out of the San Francisco Presidio, and their sole mission and task is to partner with faculty to create Wikipedia editing assignments as part of course assignments in universities in North America, Canada, and the US. This is their Wikipedia, this is the WikiEdu organization sort of splash page. You click on some of the stuff there, and there's this section on teaching with Wikipedia. And then they have the audacious claim, does editing Wikipedia change a student's life? Change a student's life, really? But when you click on and you play around in the Wiki Education Foundation's web pages, they have some quotes from some students who have been doing Wikipedia editing as course assignments for college assignments. Because you can't read them, I'll read it. Top one, from the University of Alberta, Augustin. My favorite part about writing for Wikipedia was knowing that the information being presented is valuable this summer. A student at Northeastern. I was encouraged by more than a grade. I wanted to contribute to something long-lasting and something bigger than myself. The bottom one, when a paper will most likely only be read by a single professor, if that, these edits are documented on the web for all to see. While the stakes are high, so are the rewards. There's much gratification in leaving a personal mark on something that will help others learn. That's from Stockton University. Another page, just to show you. A student from my own institution, UC Berkeley, not one of my med students, this is undergrad, he says, I realized I do have knowledge I can contribute. And you can see some numbers here. 92% of faculty who create a Wikipedia editing assignment would go back to doing it again. And these numbers I've updated on the train on the way over here. These are now up to here. 97% of faculty members who create a Wikipedia editing assignment would do it again. 37,000 Wikipedia articles have been edited for academic credit by university students. And roughly 22,000 students have edited Wikipedia since 2010 for some kind of academic credit. So I'm not really that radical or sort of innovative in the healthcare space, because college professors have been doing this way ahead of us for years. It's just that we're playing catch-up in the healthcare space. Okay. So we partner with WikiEd. WikiEd creates infrastructure for faculty members to do course editing assignments. So they create course dashboards for you. So this is our course dashboard. Again, I'm sorry about the big screen. Our course is called Expanding Wiki Project Medicine because we're partnering with Wiki Project Medicine. And if you click on the course dashboard, you can see that it has the infrastructure for you to do things like create a course timeline. In that timeline, you can see, again, sorry about the, what's my deadline here. There's modules here that WikiEd creates that you can embed into your course that students should complete. Videos to learn about plagiarism, editing basics, sandboxes in the main space. At the bottom here, I have some modules around editing medical topics, sources and citations. All there for you already to use. You don't have to create any of that. It's all there for you. You choose whether you embed it into your course or not. And when you do embed them in your course, you can track your learners' adherence to them. So these are my students and their Wikipedia usernames. And in the red, you can see that Alicia has completed 8 out of the 8 trainings that I assigned her. Christina completed 8 out of the 8, blah, blah, blah. In addition, the WikiEd sort of infrastructure allows you to do very simple stuff, or it makes it super easy for you. You can assign articles to the student, you can manage enrollment. It's like it's a mini LMS, a learning management platform, basically, right? And when you do that kind of work, it also then does some wonderful, wonderful summary stuff that both you and the students see. So on this last cycle of our course, last spring, I had 7 students enrolled, and the 7 students decided collectively to edit one article together to see if they could, how high up the quality scale they could move it. And so those 7 students, in the month they were working, made 347 edits. They added 21.9 thousand words. And that hepatitis page was viewed 50,000 times. During the month, our students were getting academic credit for the work. So this is all now summarized for us as faculty, which didn't exist 3 years ago when we got on board. So the WikiEd Foundation is really doing some wonderful back-end collaborative infrastructure with us when we partner with them, when we embrace them. Okay, so just to show you that last cycle, here's the hepatitis page on Wikipedia. My students chose it because it was one of those top importance, low quality, at that point C quality article, and they wanted to make a big difference in the world. So if you click on the talk page of hepatitis, you will see at the top there that this was a part of a course editing assignment for my course. And that's their usernames, the usernames. You'll also see, I'm very proud of them, they got it all the way up to the quality, and it's a top reports article. If you go further down on the top page, you're going to see the place where my students are talking to the rest of the Wikipedia world. So, again, because you can't see it, the top thing says Editing Prevention section, and my student says, as part of the UCSF Wiki elective, I'm working to improve this article with several of my classmates. Dear Wikipedian community, what do you think about my thoughts about this? I'd like to include an image of the CDC vaccination schedule. Blah, blah, blah. Below that, my student again, a different student, I'm working in the Signs and Symptoms section of the page. Another student, I'm working on the Outcomes and Prognosis section of the page. Another student, I'm working on the Treatment and Management section of the page. They are collaborating with Wikipedians out there, getting the world's opinion about the work that they're doing to see what people think. Okay, now, the fruits of our labor. This has been 3 years of unpaid effort. Because I'm amongst friends and it was a cheap train ride over here. Presenting this at conferences has been out of pocket, right? I have to go to these conferences and present because I think it's the best thing I'm doing in my career. And I spent a lot of money out of pocket to do this work. But academic mainstream wasn't ready to embrace this yet. So finally, last month, I had one copy in the back in Academic Medicine, our e-publication ahead of print. It will be out next month. Our innovation report. So I could not be more proud of that work. It took a buttload of effort to get it into academic mainstream, top tier journal, blah, blah, blah. To our librarian colleagues, we have the privilege of paying $3,900 for author processing charges just to make this as open as possible. They charged us more money to make it as high up the author process open access chain as we wanted. More open than we were required to, because we didn't have any funding sources that mandate that it be open or anything, but I need to tell the world about this. I need to tell the world because we should be embracing and partnering with our patients. It's making, our students are learning, they're becoming digital contributors. Why isn't every med school on the planet like doing the same? UC Davis, be the next one, please. Okay, so, all right, lastly, how many people are reading our work? So Wikipedia has a mechanism for you to track article traffic statistics, and you can just type in a page, and it'll show you the traffic longitudinally over any period of time. And because you can't see it, these are just dates at the bottom, and you can see this spiky pattern here of the hepatitis page. This is because people don't read about hepatitis on the weekends. Right? So you're seeing this pattern because people are reading about it on weekdays. That's where you're seeing that recurrent 5-bar-2-5-2-5-2. Okay, so you can just it'll aggregate Geiger count for you, how many people are reading the page. So we have a Google spreadsheet for the articles our students have touched. And we look at how many times people have viewed those pages during the time our students were touching them. And now with the Wikipedia sort of Geiger counter metrics, we can just sort of add up in total. So our 50 UCSF fourth-year medical students have edited 44 pages, excuse me. And last I updated this in September, those 44 pages have been viewed 25 million times. I didn't update it on the way over here because the Wi-Fi on the train wasn't working, but I would have done it just to, and the number would go up to 26 million. Oh gee, I mean, you get the point. I don't need this sort of hammer to exact precision today, but that was as of September. Okay, so. We're in a scholarly community. Let's talk about the limitations and next steps of our work. So far, only 50 medical students. It is entirely possible that these are early adapters so that they have atypically great enthusiasm for digital contributions. I doubt it, but I can't say that certainty. That's hand-waving, right? So it is also only a one-institution study, so the results may not be generalizable to other medical schools or other communities of medical students. Okay. Kinds of next steps. I'd like to more systematically evaluate the work of our students in the last cycle where we had all 7 contributing to one article rather than individual cowboys and cowgirls. I actually think that they did more because of the collective sort of commitment to one another. Anecdotally hand-waving, they on their own scheduled a collective editing session because they wanted to make sure that text and prose that they were each doing of the different sections flowed nicely as a longitudinal cohesive package. Which was just really wonderful, right? But I didn't force them to, they just wanted to. So there's some more work to be done around understanding that motivation and the collective spirit of collaboration. The This year we have 28 more students enrolled, 24 this fall and another 4 in the spring. I deliberately park it in the interview season because they love the travel flexibility of going around the country and getting academic credit for editing Wikipedia while they're on the plane flying to residency interviews. So, and then in the spring I do it around match day because they're not thinking about anything else except match day, and it's nice to get them thinking about doing large social good even after they found out where they're going to be. And UCSF School of Pharmacy now has students editing Wikipedia's medicines-related pages. And it would be neat to collaborate interprofessionally across the professions. And as I said, UC Davis, be next. Let's have other schools. What I call the copycat improvements to our course. There's nothing magical about a fourth-year elective. There's nothing that says it has to be that way. As I talked to a colleague earlier before you all got here, I co-directed the Doctoring 101 course at UCSF for 10 years, and I thought, we should put this in there, right? But it was just too radical for my co-directors at the time. And so the only way I could get it into the curriculum was a fourth-year elective one-off. But let's make it part of the required curriculum. Towards that end, let me talk a little bit further about what's subsequent to the version of this talk and what's happening at UCSF. So again, one copy of a handout in the back that summarizes this slide for you. But there's some differences in the ways we're embedding and embracing Wikipedia. So on my side, 4-week immersive rotation. Non-required, but the only course you're doing is this course, and the only thing you're doing is editing Wikipedia for the entirety of the 4-week rotation. Okay? On the pharmacy side, my colleague Tina Brock has made this a part of a required health policy course. She calls it Words as Power. Not the course, the assignment is Words as Power. And so the assignment is a 4-week assignment within that 10-week required health policy course. And so this is one of other assignments the students do in the course. It counts 15% of their final grade, and the students are concurrently enrolled in other pharmacy courses at the same time. Very different models. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this, but I want to show you the variation in ways we're playing with partnering. If you look at our efforts so far, across the 3 years we've done it in school medicine and 2 years school pharmacy has done it, you can see some aggregate summary numbers. And what I think is really awesome with what Tina is doing is she's leapfrogged past me, because by making it a required course for a required assignment, she has 147 pages already edited. She has 234 pharmacy students who have contributed this work already. And those pages are way surpassing my students' work. And that's just during the 4 weeks that students are actively editing. Okay. I want to go back to this article for a moment that I started with way at the beginning, this Journal of Medical Informatics Research article, or Internet Research, excuse me. In that article, there's a wonderful table. By the way, just as an aside, I want you to see, this is, I haven't updated the screenshot for a while, but you can see it says article cited by 0. I'm sure it's been cited by now, but the tweetations is 156. And what's really cool is to start to learn some of these social metric, alt metrics formats. And so there are other ways of measuring impact of our work beyond who cites it and beyond the sort of impact factor of the journal. And a whole other discussion I'd love to engage with you all around. But if you look in the article, there's this beautiful, beautiful figure that looks at the internet by language. The majority of the internet's in English. But the world's population doesn't speak English. Only 6% of the world's population speaks English, top right. But if you look at language of Wikipedia, it's the most multilingual part of the internet. It's not all the way where we need it to be. The bottom circle is not the same as the top right, but it's closer to that than any other part of the internet. So, has anyone heard of Translators Without Borders? Lesson number 6, I love it. Okay, Translators Without Borders is a nonprofit that's dedicated to translating the health content of the English Wikipedia language. After it gets to a minimum quality of B quality, they then take those Wikipedia articles from English language Wikipedia and translate them to other language Wikipedias. And so far, they've translated over 1,300 articles into more than 90 languages. Just to show you the behind-the-scenes work of that group, here's a Google spreadsheet that they use to track progress in translation. Again, hard to read. The articles, schizophrenia, dengue fever, urinary tract infection, blah, 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 blah. The columns are different European languages: Bulgarian, Croatian, Czech, Danish, Dutch, French, blah, blah, blah. You can see green is where they've accomplished the translation already, and other places are where they have work to do. That's the first sheet of the Google Sheet. Here's one where we're looking at the Asian and Middle Eastern languages: Arabic, Armenian, Chinese, Indonesian, Javanese, etc., etc. So there's more work to be done in those languages. And here, even more work to do are on the African and South American languages: Tagalog, Thai, Turkish, Vietnamese, etc., etc., etc. Lots of work to do, but they don't start that translating until we get B quality in English Wikipedia language. So, lastly, has anybody heard of Wikipedia Zero? I love it. I love it when you haven't learned this stuff, because you're going to walk away being just as inspired as I was. They are a collaboration between Wikipedia and cell phone providers in the developing world. It's a free encyclopedia. Why should we charge people access to free information? And so right now, so Wikipedia Zero's Wikipedia page. There are 600 million people in 57 countries across 75 mobile carriers that now have access to Wikipedia for free because it's large social good. So the cell phone carriers see value in providing access for free, and 6 out of 7 people on the planet have access to Wikipedia, have access to cell phones now. So just to sort of hammer that point, I can't help but not show you this video, because when I watch this video, oftentimes I tear up.
Hi. This is a letter which me and my classmate wrote to access to Wikipedia for free. It goes as follows.
Open letter to Cell C, MTN, Vodacom, and ATAL.
We are learners in grade 12 at Silinjong High School, Joslovo Park, Milnerton, Cape Town.
We recently heard that in some other African countries like Kenya and Uganda,
Cell phone providers are offering their customers free access to Wikipedia.
We think this is a wonderful idea and would really like to encourage you also to make the same offer here in South Africa.
Our school does not have a library.
90% of us have cell phones, but it is expensive for us to buy airtime.
So if we could get free access to Wikipedia,
it will make a huge difference to us.
Normally, when we do research, Wikipedia is one of the best sites,
and there is information on just about every topic.
Think of the boost that it will give us as students and to the whole education system of South Africa.
Our education system needs help, and having access to Wikipedia would make a very positive difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And goes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to wait to the end to give credit to all the background, behind-the-scenes folks, so you can see some of the people that were involved in producing that really inspirational video. So, coming back to the slide set then, when you string all those collaborations together, I'd like to propose to you the reason this is the most important thing I'm doing in my career, in my life, is because we have the opportunity to give medical students the chance to provide high-quality information to the world's population in the language of their preference, in the way they already access the internet through cell phones, and for free. And when I say that to my students at the beginning of the rotation, I don't have to slog them. I just say get busy. And they work their butts off to do amazing things, to change the world. Okay, lastly, a fantasy idea for you guys. Dell AMC produces a sort of a listing of all of the number of graduates at every medical school in the last 5 years. And at UCSF, the numbers aren't critical. At UCSF, that's that row there, in the 2013-14 year, of the 256 graduates, whatever the number is, I'll use the real numbers. Of the 160 graduates at UCSF that year, 12 of them did this work. The following year, we had 177 graduates, of which 16 did this work. The year after that, we had 22 students do this work, and this year we're going to have 28 students do this work. If you look at the bottom of that table of all the U.S. graduates in medical schools in the U.S., The total number of graduates every year, the newly minted positions are 18,705. And I would ask you, if every single one of our newly minted physicians made a single edit to Wikipedia on the day of graduation, can you imagine how fast we could simply improve the quality of health content on Wikipedia? Fantasy idea, because we're not there yet. But I hope very much that you'll join me in that transformative power. I could not have possibly done any of this work without a really big multidisciplinary team, and I always love to give credit to my colleagues and co-authors for that manuscript and all of the work we've done in the last 3 years by showing you their faces. Some of them, Witt's the UCSF librarian, Val's with Translators Without Borders, Jake is at the Wikimedia Library Foundation, James is the ER Doc from Canada, Lauren's now a medical librarian at Uniformed Health Services, Kingsley helped with some of lives in Nigeria and helped with a lot of the qualitative data analysis and thinking about bringing it to Nigerian medical schools. Fred is the computer programmer guy who did the bytes of data type stuff. Lane works for Consumer Reports, now trying to help medical schools in New York actually do this work. And Jack's one of the UCSF affiliated physicians that created the say it wrong, Principles of Emergent Design to create that scale of very improved way. And I'm very grateful to them. So I always like to show you who they are and declare them as colleagues. I'm the guy standing in front of the podium, but not without the help of all these folks. And then lastly, I will show you the Wikipedia usernames of the students that embraced this work and the early adapters and the pages they touch as we go to Q&A. So deeply grateful for you taking time out of your days to come and hear my passion and the work our students have done. And I look forward to your thoughts and dialogue.
So I just have a question about the vandalism factor. Well, first of all, vandalism, and then the other question is about is the application of the grade scale or the scale, is that a crowdsourced application or who's deciding?
Yeah, so the grading of the articles. So like the Wikipedian community relies on all volunteers, and so some people are passionate about fixing typographical errors, and some people are passionate about content inclusion, and some people are passionate about grading quality. And so it's all volunteers. It's people who part of the Project Medicine community who are doing that grading. Because there's a bottleneck there, I think, and because our work is actually very potentially impactful, when we were ready for that hepatitis page to be graded, it got bumped up to the queue so that they could regrade it for us. But it's all volunteers.
So it's a subset of Wikipedians who are really interested in that as a focus.
Yes, very much.
And then, what the other thing I hear about quality of Wikipedia is that it's it's either easy or it's not easy to actually have somebody come in and completely edit a monograph in Wikipedia about, say, family planning services. Some of the political topics get vandalized, right? And so what are the safeguards for that?
Yeah, I didn't get into any of that. There's a lot of layers of background safety that the Wikipedian community has developed and established. Some of which, for example, are automated bots that will go through and control for curse words in Wikipedia. And as soon as they find it, they immediately reverse that sort of vandalism there stuff. In addition to that, there are layers of human interaction in which people are given additional editor powers to block people who are creating vandalism. So if people are recurrent vandalizers, they get blocked from editing, and then for particular pages that are particularly vulnerable to edit wars. Those are edit pages that you cannot simply edit and save, but there are layers that are in place. So it's a multi-layered thing that I don't claim to know a lot about, but I just know that it exists. So for my students, I don't tell them, I tell them to pick any page they want, but we haven't gotten into situations where they're controversial pages. James, when he comes and talks to the students, says, you just be aware that some of these pages are not freely editable. You have to demonstrate that you're making good quality edits before you get permission to edit those protected pages. The closest to that, the top left one, Eric worked on race and health, which was the closest to a controversial domain. But again, there's so much work to do that let's just steer clear of those highly controversial ones because other people are playing in that space. Let's play with the space that isn't controversial.
I'm curious,
do you have any plan to track long-term? Does this inspire people to be more productive in terms of ongoing writing and dissemination of information and knowledge?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have not thought about doing that longitudinal tracking. Even the statement I made that only one of them has gone on to continue at Wikipedia is something that I'm going to answer this in a couple ways. The first one is, how often do we longitudinally track our learners after they graduate from our programs anyway? So that's a domain that all of us should be doing more of. So not just me, but so that's just something that sort of the effort associated with that seems hard, but not insurmountable. We should consider it. So I agree with the logic. The second area I guess I would say about that is, I alluded to this earlier. I don't care that they're not editing and going on to becoming Wikipedians, because we have an inexhaustible